And we return back in here on 1480 WHBC. John Bozica along with you this morning. And as always, we've been doing this every Monday morning now where we talk to somebody from child and adolescent behavioral health. And we have the pleasure now to talk to Mary Kreitz, not only on 1480 WHBC, but also on our online video stream, which you can view on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at this point. Mary is the counselor and trauma program manager at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Mary, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So, Mary, depression and social isolation are our topics today. I know that you and I were talking before we went on air here and saying how unique the holidays are this year and how things are a little bit different. I imagine it adds for the chance for increased depression this year, if that's possible.
Yeah, really, because things are so different this year, a lot of people are feeling disappointment or feeling isolated from people they normally would have visited. They're not having those chances to really connect and get out there and do the things that they're used to doing. So it makes this a really challenging year.
So I know seasonal affective disorder is always something that is possible. It's always something that happens to most people. I know that most years this is something that even I kind of suffer from, that I would say the average American pretty much does. But for those that don't really know what that is, Mary, could you explain that and why it's an important, I guess, thing to know what SAD is?
Sure. Yeah. When the seasons change, the days get shorter. We have shorter amounts of daylight and the nights get longer, so longer periods of darkness. And that has an effect on our moods because daylight actually triggers something in our brains that helps to regulate our moods. And when we have less exposure to daylight, because there's less of it during the day and because we spend more time inside due to it being cold, we have a harder time regulating our emotions. And sometimes that means that we end up feeling more sad than we normally would. We might be more irritable, meaning that things irritate us more easily than they normally would. Sometimes it comes up as feeling fatigued, so just having no energy, no motivation to get up and do much of anything, or having a difficult time concentrating. And a lot of times these can lead to just having no interest in activities that we normally would have a lot of fun doing and feeling like everything is just harder to get through. That is what we refer to as seasonal affect disorder. And we call it seasonal because it is specific to this season. So it gets worse as the winter comes on, but we expect that it will get better as the days get longer during the spring and we have more opportunities to be outside and get that exposure to sunshine.
So I guess to kind of put this into perspective, is that why people feel like napping more during this time of year?
Yes,
feel less
exactly.
social? And I mean, and I guess what are things that you can do then? What are ways that you can combat that this time of year, considering that you look outside and it is kind of dreary today?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that is often recommended is trying to get exposure to sunlight. So if it is possible to get outside, do that. There are a number of places that sell sun lamps that you can get that give you that same quality of light. Especially on a dreary day like today, it may not be so easy to get outside to do that. Other things that we need to do are taking care of our basic health needs. So eating healthy, not just eating junk food, because sometimes what happens is that our bodies start craving carbs and high sugar foods when we're in this kind of mood. And that actually has the opposite effect, though, because it can make us actually feel more drained and more down. When you get that initial burst of energy from the sugar or the simple carbs, afterwards it leaves you feeling drained because you kind of dip lower. Getting some exercise, because the more that you move around, that triggers some endorphins in our bodies that help us to feel better. And that's a natural process. Making sure that we get enough sleep, but not too much sleep. Because sometimes it can be tempting to just withdraw from life and sleep the whole day away. That's not really healthy. We need to get out and do our normal activities. And that's the other part, is to just plan things to do. Doesn't have to be big things. We don't have to, plan a huge project or a big trip, but just to say, okay, today I'm going to go to the grocery store and make the list of what do I need. Or say that, today is going to be the day that I need to get my laundry done, or I need to call some people that I haven't talked to in a while and check in on how they're doing. But setting a little achievable goal for each day that gives you a reason to get up out of bed, and setting small things that you can enjoy for your day. So after I get done with the laundry that I need to do, I can sit down and watch one of those Christmas movies that are a guilty pleasure. Or I can, listen to some music that I enjoy while I'm doing some of the tasks that I have to do around the house. Things that I can look forward to enjoying, because it is important to reward ourselves and give us pleasure during the day.
Counselor and trauma program manager, child and adolescent behavioral health, and Mary Kreitz is our guest this morning on 1480 WHBC and on our video stream at Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now. Mary, now I know this is hard for you and me, adults, to deal with, any other adult that's listening, but for kids that maybe don't understand why this year is different, why it's like, well, why isn't grandma coming over? Why aren't our aunts and uncles coming over? For those that are in that situation, I don't know, 18 and under, what can be done to help those out to maybe understand this a little bit better and get through that depression that they might not feel comfortable talking about?
Well, part of it is how we explain it to them and what kind of tone we set when we talk to them. If we just tell them, nope, we're not going to get to see grandma. No, that trip for the Polar Express has been canceled, so we're not going to do that. Then they focus on all the things they're missing out on. If we let them know why these things are happening, and honestly, most young people are aware that a virus is out there and that it's potentially very dangerous. They're aware of that. So if we let them know that, to be safe this year, we're not going to go visit grandma, they can understand that. But then we also need to give them, what are we going to do instead? So if we're not going to go visit grandma, what else can we do? And plan some activities for them. So maybe we're going to Skype or FaceTime or Zoom with grandma. Maybe we can make up a little skit to show her, or we could make cards or a craft project and send it to her. Maybe we can set up a special surprise for grandma and show that to her. Instead of, we may not get to go on the Polar Express, but maybe we can watch the movie in our pajamas and make hot chocolate and dance around the living room when the hot chocolate song comes on. Maybe we can get a kit from any number of stores, grocery stores, convenience stores, and make a gingerbread house and decorate it and, and eat the extra ingredients and, have fun just doing something that maybe we normally wouldn't have a chance to do. So finding some way to just enjoy ourselves and be together and enjoy spending time together, that replaces some of the things that we need to do. Because honestly, looking back on past years, we got to go out and do a lot of things. We got to go out and see a lot of people, but it wasn't all wonderful. There was a lot of stress in holidays. And so maybe this year, by not having the chance to do that safely, we can simplify things a little bit and take some of our own stress load off. Maybe we don't have to travel as much or have to do all of the parties and all of the visits and all of the social engagements that we had. Maybe we can slow down a little bit and actually have a chance to relax. That would be nice.
It would be, and I think for many adults out there that are, in a marriage that's been going on for a while, maybe a chance to not see the in-laws would be a little bit of a stress release some years.
Exactly.
So, not to say, I mean, I know a lot of people love their in-laws, but Mary, we're going to take a break here. We'll come back and we'll continue this discussion with Mary Kreitz from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, talking about seasonal affective disorder, social isolation, different things that people may be facing during the holidays. Again, with Mary Kreitz, who is the counselor and trauma program manager at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. We'll be right back here on 1480 WHBC.
Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC.
What I like about radio is the guests that they have. There's a good variety.
Good morning, Governor.
Pam, good morning.
Good morning, Pam.
Good morning, Pam. Good talking to you, Pam.
Good morning. You're on WHBC.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Connect with your favorite radio shows through contests, social media, and podcasts. Create custom alarms with your favorite radio stations, all free with the radio.com app.
Whatever you send through the U.S. Postal Service this season is so much more than mail or packages. In every carrier's hands is a card with your handwriting. In every box, on every truck, is your message that you care. We know how much goes into your holiday mail, especially this year, which is why we go the distance to bring you closer. Learn more at USPS.com/closer.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin a deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech for your business. Save big on the latest computers powered by Intel Core processors for your small business. And don't forget to shop servers, storage, and thousands of top brand electronics, all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The COVID-19 pandemic continues to weigh on us. While we all feel helpless, remember there is much we can do to protect ourselves, our family, and friends, all of us. Simply get in the habit of wearing a mask and maintain 6 feet of space between yourself and others in public. Wash your hands often and stay home if you feel sick. It takes all of us to combat COVID-19. Go to cdcfoundation.org to learn more.
Are you dreaming of a white Christmas? I'm Ashley from Verndale's Water Center. When the snow starts to fall, remember Verndale's for all your sidewalk salt and de-icing product needs. And don't forget about our snow paws, the salt that's safe for your pets.
Verndale's Water Center.
The scam that is affecting Zoom.
That could be confusing to consumers.
From the Canton region and serving also Greater West Virginia Better Business Bureau, Amanda Titsi. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Pam. We see new scams every single day. Since March and April, Zoom has actually attracted the attention of hackers and scammers. What they're doing is these domain names, which include the word Zoom, it actually looks like it's coming from the official video conferencing service. Typically, you'll receive a message via social media or your email with the official Zoom logo. It says something like your Zoom account has been suspended. Click here to reactivate. Or you missed a meeting. Click here to see the details and reschedule. It's probably a scam and you should just delete the message.
You guys have a website people can go to and kind of look around, right?
Our official website for the Canton BBB is bbb.org/Canton.
Provided by News Talk 1480 WHBC.
WHBC AM Canton, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom,
We're at a critical point. That from the Stark County Health Department on the county going purple level 4 on the weekly public advisory map. The department says the state guideline for purple includes a new request that we leave the house only for supplies and services.
You just have to say no to gatherings. We're at this critical point now, and everybody is on the front line in this fight now. So we need your help.
That is the department's Chris Cagini. Summit and Portage counties are also purple. An 83-year-old woman with a Uniontown address was killed along Pontius Street east of Cleveland Avenue Northwest in Lake Township on Friday night. A witness tells the State Highway Patrol that Elena Ipsis was standing in the eastbound lane around 6 p.m. when she was struck by a car driven by a Lake Township man. Officials say she was dead at the scene. An Ashland County man was killed in a two-vehicle crash north of Worcester on Saturday. State Highway Patrol Post says there was a 34-year-old Jeromesville man that was killed on Route 604 and 83 when he failed to stop at a sign and was struck by an SUV. That driver went to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Well, most people were looking at Baker Mayfield's arm and not his feet yesterday, but he, like others in the NFL, were wearing curious-looking cleats, all in support of the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats program. Students from Avon, Ohio, designed the cleats for the Browns quarterback, supporting Special Olympics, the charity that is important to him. More news coming up at 11 o'clock. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your Accuweather Forecast. Mostly cloudy skies continuing for the rest of the day with a couple of flurries. High this afternoon, 36. And rather cloudy this evening with a couple of flurries in the area. Low tonight, 28. Tomorrow and Wednesday both will have sunshine and areas of low clouds. High on Tuesday, 39. High on Wednesday, 47. Then look for partly sunny skies on Thursday with a high of 47. I'm Holly Holdren for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
A virtual visit with Santa right in your own living room.
Log on to WHBC.com and share your children's Christmas list with Santa, and you could win a virtual visit with the big man himself.
Wrapped up by Hartville Hardware and Lumber, Hartville Kitchen, T-Mobile, Friends and Family Credit Union, and News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Canton Regency Senior Living has been a part of the Canton and Stark County community for over 30 years. We offer independent living, assisted living, as well as memory care. We pride ourselves in providing a caring, home-like environment so you can have peace of mind knowing your loved one will receive the compassionate care they deserve. Canton Regency, 4515 22nd Street Northwest in Canton, just off Whipple. Visit our website at capitalsenior.com/Canton-Regency. Discover the difference with Canton Regency.
The past 7 months have been challenging for youth with many changes to daily routines. It is normal to feel a little overwhelmed and anxious, but if your child's anxiety and depression are causing them to feel insecure, afraid to continue with normal activities and schoolwork, Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health is here to make a difference. Call 330-433-6075 or find us online at childandadolescent.org.
Trusted, live, and local. Your community all morning long here on 1480 WHBC.
John Bozica, 1480 WHBC, and we return back in here on 1480 WHBC this morning at 10:34, 32 degrees out. It's pretty cold out there, but getting by this morning, and we have the pleasure of bringing back into the show Mary Kreitz, who is the program manager for the trauma program at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, also a counselor, so comes to us with a lot of experience under her belt and knows exactly what to say about these tough times that we are currently going through right now with depression, with social isolation, with all of these things that I'm guessing most people probably wouldn't talk about normally unless it really was, something that was unique to them during a normal year. But I think COVID has heightened most of that this year, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. And one of the things I think that it's really heightened, Mary, is social isolation. Could you explain social isolation and how COVID has had an effect on that, not only with adults, but also with kids as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, social isolation it's not really about being not around people. It's about, because you can feel isolated or lonely even when you're surrounded by people. The truth is, though, that isolation and loneliness are about not feeling satisfied with the type of interaction that you're having with other people, or not having relationships that meet your expectations. So this year it's really tough because we are more physically isolated than we have been in the past, where kids are not going to school. They're staying home and doing their lessons remotely. Many people might not be going to work. They might be staying home and working remotely. A lot of social events have been canceled. A lot of people are not going to other people's houses or going out to restaurants or bars and socializing the way that they normally would. And as a result, we are feeling sad. We're feeling disconnected from other people. Having those interactions with other people, even if they're not people that we know very well, even if they're total strangers, or if they're just someone we know a little bit, like an acquaintance, that brings some novelty and some stimulation into our lives. It makes it interesting, and that helps us get through our day-to-day existence. It brings a little bit of joy to us. So when we don't have a chance to do that, life just feels a little more dull and not as exciting or interesting as it normally would.
Because this is actually something that I've talked about with my fiance, because she's a teacher, my mom's a teacher, and they are so used to being able to see their kids, being able to interact with their kids. And I know that they've said that, the idea of sometimes just leaving the house and getting to do something outside of the house would be such a great feeling. What kind of toll does a teacher not getting able to see their kids, and then vice versa, a student not being able to see their teacher, what kind of effect does that have on a kid this time of year, considering, as you said, that this is kind of like isolation from what we're used to?
Yeah, that it makes a difference, because even though we're seeing people over computers the way like we do when we have a Zoom meeting or a FaceTime meeting or whatever your platform is, we don't see them in the same way. We don't see all of them. We interact with people a little bit differently when we're on a computer or a phone or a tablet and interacting with them. So it does make it feel a little bit less like they're there. We don't really feel that close connection with them. We don't feel that it's as easy to reach out to people that, oh, if I need something, I can just ask my teacher because she's right there across the room. Oh, if I'm concerned about this student, I can really keep an eye on them, because you know that you can only see a small box that they're in, and you don't know, what am I missing? And so that can bring a lot of anxiety for people. Am I missing out on something? Or if you know that they're struggling and you can't be there with them, that can bring a lot of worry, because normally you could say, well, I could reach out and give that kid a hug. I know that they really needed it, so I could give them a hug, but right now I can't do that. But we can try to do something similar by reaching out and saying, hey, I know I haven't seen you in person in a long time. I miss you. And just trying to be that genuine and open with them to say, I miss seeing you. I wish that I could give you a hug, giving you a virtual high five. We can let them know that we do care. We can let them know that they're on our minds and we're thinking about them, because that matters. Sometimes kids feel like they're invisible, that nobody notices them. They don't notice whether they're there, or they wouldn't notice if they didn't show up. And so we need to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you, even though you're not right here with me. You matter to me. and I care about you, and I want to know that you're doing okay, and that if you need anything, you can reach out to me. You can send me an email, you can give me a call, whatever. And I know that's different for teachers. You can't just call up your teacher whenever you want. But usually if teachers are working remotely with students, there is some format that they can communicate if they're struggling with their homework, or if they're having a hard time with something, or even if they just want to say hi. And those little things, I worked a long time with elementary kids, and they like to draw you a picture and, or bring a little gift for their teacher. And so this year they might not be able to actually hand it to them, but they could draw their picture and hold it up and show it to them when they meet. Or they could, send them an email or something that tells them all the things they wanted to say that they would have put in their card or something like that. So we have to just be a little more creative on the ways that we reach out to each other, but it's still so important that we make that effort to reach out to each other, because some people really are feeling isolated and lonely, and they need that. They need to know that somebody was thinking about them and cared enough to reach out and say, hey, how you doing?
Mary Kreitz is my guest. She is a counselor and trauma program manager at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. And Mary, I think one of the interesting things that I had in my notes here was about how we tend to romanticize the good years of holidays and things like that. I mean, even during a normal year, there's still extra stress that's added on. Why does it feel like, though, that this year that everything is so magnified? Is that a direct product of the pandemic?
I think it is. I mean, if you imagine your stress level as like water in a glass, our level is already pretty high. And so adding any additional stress onto it is like pouring extra water into an already full glass. We are close to our limit already because of all the strains of what's happened for the pandemic, all the shutdowns. A lot of families are struggling financially. A lot of people are just trying to deal with constant change and uncertainty, and all of that adds to our stress level. So if we're already feeling stressed out, adding the normal holiday stress on top of that just feels like so much more, and it's hard.
Mary, last question for you here this morning, and that is, I guess, what families can do, where they can reach out for help, and if they are feeling something at this very moment, where could they go, and what is the first step that they should take, pretty much?
Well, it is not a problem to reach out for help. If you are feeling stressed, feeling depressed, feeling isolated, and it's more than you can handle on your own, please do reach out. If we were having physical health problems, we would reach out and ask for help. If we're having emotional or mental health problems, we should reach out for help. Child and Adolescent is open throughout the season. We are open. We're considered essential care, so we are open even when other things are shutting down. All they need to do is reach out and give us a call. Our number is 330-433-6075. Someone will ask them a few questions about what they need and what's going on with them, and then help them set up an appointment. We do virtual appointments and we do in-person appointments, so whatever they're comfortable with. We could arrange something around their schedule and around whatever level of comfort they have. So if they want telehealth, we can do that. If they want to come in and meet with somebody face-to-face, they can do that. And that would be the first step toward getting them that little bit of extra support, because people aren't born experts on mental health. If you don't know these things, that's not a failing. It's not something that you're doing wrong. It's okay. That's normal human beings. But there are people who have studied this and are experts on mental health that can help you out and are here and willing to do that.
I remember the first time I had a panic attack, and I was wondering just what had happened to me. And after I figured it out, it opened my eyes to something that I had never realized was really a thing, and just kind of bottled that up.
And it's so easy to interpret that as, oh my gosh, there's something inherently wrong with me. Like there's something bad about me. And then you find out, oh wait, no, this is a thing and it has a name and there are things I can do about it. And I think part of the problem is we don't talk openly enough about it, that when these things happen, if you have a panic attack, you're not the only person that's ever had a panic attack, but people don't generally tell each other about their panic attacks. The same thing with depression. If you're feeling depressed, people don't always tell each other about that. Or when we hear it, we minimize it and say, oh yeah, I get sad sometimes too. This is more than just being sad. If you're actually depressed, it's a whole other level of sad that you just can't get rid of. And when people go along and go, well, smile and feel better, don't get sad, that's not helpful. We need to reach out to each other and say, oh, if you're at that level of sad, let's get you some help. There are things that can actually make you feel better. You don't have to just suffer through it. You can feel better. And just knowing that there's hope does a lot to help.
Mary Kreitz, the counselor and program manager for trauma at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Mary, I appreciate the time as always, and look forward to the next time that we get to do this.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Mary Kreitz from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. We'll take a break here and come right back with more on the show this morning on COVID and kind of where we're at right now with battling the virus and so on and so forth, and mixing some sports in there as well. We'll be right back.